Get started with our meeting this afternoon. If we can please have everybody quiet so we can begin our meeting. We're going to go ahead and get started today. We have some guest speakers to start off our meeting today. This afternoon, we have State Representative Veronica Sims, our former colleague. It's always nice to have you here to say a few words.
Don't know exactly how this one works. Thank you, Madam Vice President Hyam, and to the distinguished members of Summit County Council, thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening regarding the Legacy Building Project. At a time when so much is being done to erase and/or water down the extraordinary history of Black Americans, I believe it is an excellent opportunity to join the work to preserve this rich history of Akron-Summit County. As a state representative, I am proud to have introduced legislation to declare May 29th as Sojourner Truth Day in Ohio, to expand our jury pool to provide opportunities for fair and impartial juries for one that would be representative of one's peers, something that often evades people of color, and to that end, to remove the sanctioning of slavery in Ohio by demanding its disembodiment of the last vestiges from the guiding document of our great state, our Ohio Constitution. Again, the city of Akron in Summit County has a rich and at times a very painful, sordid history related to Black people. I believe that all of that history, both good and bad, should be housed in a place where it can be clearly seen and venerated. The Legacy Project will do exactly this. Make sure that there is always and will be always a place where this history can be preserved and observed by generations to come. The Legacy Project will establish Akron's first Black cultural landmark, creating an African American Culture Center and Museum. The center and museum will provide a space where the amazing culture of African Americans is prized and highly respected, where generations can gather to learn from one another, and where our community can come together to build, heal, and explore the endless possibilities of even more powerful and a prosperous future. The state has recognized the importance of this project and has invested $600,000 to this endeavor in the past two capital budget cycles. Yesterday, I had the honor of joining County Executive Eileen Shapiro for the Summit County's homecoming of the 250th anniversary of America's celebration. As I stood on the steps of Simon Perkins' mansion to speak to the gathering, my heart was pained by the reality that on this very ground where we had gathered, our beloved enslaved ancestors' feet had once trod as they were in hot pursuit of the elusive thing called freedom. The brave men and women who had the moral courage to intervene in history, like Simon Perkins and John Brown, who lent both not only their hands but their homes to make this dream of freedom a real and tangible hope for so many. Although many have forgotten this reality, the grounds have and will never forget. As we gather in celebration of the 250th anniversary of America the Beautiful, I stood there as one of the wildest dreams of my ancestors, serving as the representative of Ohio's 33rd House District. I concluded my thoughts with the notion that I serve in this position with a deep-seated hope that even more dreams would be realized, and with an eye towards an America that would live up to its creed of freedom, liberty, and justice for all. We have an opportunity here to step into history like Simon Perkins and John Brown did, to help ensure that the critically important contributions of the history of African Americans, Black people, is not disregarded or lost, but that it has a home where it lives proudly and unapologetically in Akron and Summit County. Madam Vice President, members of the Summit County Council, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. And with that, I'm honored to turn the mic over to members of the Legacy Team Project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Akbar?
Thank you very much, State Representative Sims, and thank you to our County Council. I'm Dr. N.J. Akbar, serve as the Executive Director of the Akron Rites of Passage Legacy Center and the Legacy Building Project. And so I'm here really excited to talk to you about a way we can transform a community that has been devastated by the harms and ills of past decision making. That destroyed black communities' economic development district, as well as over 700 homes where people, real people lived, loved, laughed, cried, and played. And so I'm excited to talk about this project. This project is birthed out of the Akron Rites of Passage Institute, which is a 501c3 nonprofit here in Akron, with a mission to educate, empower, and support individuals of African descent through an African-centered rite of passage framework, which basically means is we work to educate and empower individuals through the entire life cycle and the development of the human being. So from adolescence all the way to being an elder and into adulthood. What all those stages mean and how you contribute to society and how we can learn from each stage. We are excited to bring this project forward. So a group of elders about 6 years ago brought forward the idea that they wanted to leave a legacy for this community. And so the Legacy Building Project was birthed. This Legacy Building Project is an $11.5 million project, which we are looking to house on Rose Avenue. And we'll really look at being the renaissance of that neighborhood to transform and revitalize the community, focused on community development, community education, empowerment, as well as economic development as well. And so in the center, we will have multiple different aspects, one being a business incubator, which we've worked with the Black Chamber, for example, potentially providing sustainability for that organization through this project. Also a tech and trade center, working with our youth and our community members on how to invest in financial literacy so that we can both bring up the economic levels of the community, community auditorium and or center for conferences and events, as well as a community garden outside and a museum focused on the education and restoration and preservation of history of that community and beyond here in Summit County and abroad. We also are looking at making this building a technological wonder, which we will look at how do we invest in green energy into the building and for the community as well. So within a 2 to 5 mile radius, how do we also supply energy there using a lot of green technology? And because I don't have a lot of time, I don't have time to talk about that right now, but please know it's an exciting part of our project. And our board co-president, Terrence Shelton, probably would talk to you ad nauseum about it as well. And so why did we choose Rose Avenue? We chose Rose Avenue because it is at the heart of the Inner Belt, which really went in and destroyed homes and that community. It provides us an opportunity to really revitalize the community and bring there as a center, the hub, for these type of activities. I'm proud to be the administrative leader of this project, but we have many people in this room already who have support the project. One, State Representative Veronica Sims and State Senator former State Senator Vernon Sykes were the first to give to this project a few years ago. So we thank you for your continued support. But we also have our board co-president, as well as other members of our board, our advisory board and task force. And so if you all could just stand just so that people can see who's here to represent the project, that would be great. Thank you very much. So from our 3 different administrative governance structures, we have about 70 individuals involved and engaged in this project across this community. So we have a lot of broad support for this project. And so over the last 2 years, we've really been able to gain steam and progress. And so you'll see on this screen some of that progress that we've been able to make. In the middle is a picture of exactly where the Interbelt has come and what was there before. You can kind of see that in the background. All of that has that no longer exists because of the Interbelt is there. And over the last 2 years, we've received the investment, two investments from the state of Ohio. With that funding, we are actually opening our proof of concept space this fall, connected to Mount Olive Baptist Church. One of the things we continue to hear is, how are you going to make this a reality? Well, we can show you better than we can tell you. And so we look forward to inviting you to that grand opening, or the soft opening. The museum is planned to have its first exhibit in February of 27. And so you'll see some of those things. One of the things that we have utilized the funds for is to also do a feasibility study, which will be giving us our sustainability plan for how we will sustain the project, utilizing all the different revenue generating opportunities we have with this building. And so that is our project in a very fast, short nutshell. I'm sure if any of you talk to me for any extended period of time, I could talk to you for much longer about the different aspects of the project. But one of the reasons why we're here, just want to make a final appeal, is we have our signature annual fundraiser coming up on Saturday. We're really excited about the Village Ball. We have over 225 people as of 3 o'clock today who have bought tickets and will be in the room with us. And we hope to see you there. And we're really appreciative of County Councilman Brandon Ford for your contribution and support of the project. And we're here to hope that the County Council will also join in that effort. We have a sponsorship level of Village Champion of $5,000 through Councilman Ford's. We've already received $1,000 and hoping that by the end of today, we could also get another $4,000 from County Council to make sure that our annual fundraiser is a success. Not only that we meet our $30,000 goal, which we're just shy of, and so with your support we can reach it, but we can exceed that goal, and that's what we're looking to do. And then we're also really excited about the opportunity to have further conversations with the county executive and her team to further talk about investment in the project. So I know that I don't have any more time, so I appreciate you, and will yield for any questions if you have any.
Thank you very much. Any questions from members of council? Brandon?
Not a question, just a comment. Thank you, Dr. Akbar. Thank you, Representative Sims, for coming, and all of the members from Akron Rites of Passage and from the Legacy Project for joining and talking about what is a really important and could be potentially transformative thing happening within our community. So I'm hoping that with the support of the county, that we can bring this building to life. Because it could, again, be not just transformative for Black and brown people in this community, but transformative for all the businesses and things that are housed around that space as well. So thank you for your time, and thank you for coming out and sharing this message with us. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much.
Councilman Wilhite?
Yeah, just want to echo Brandon's comments, but also the thing that's most exciting to me about this is where you've chosen to place it, because where this will be placed is an initial, let's get that Interbelt back to what it possibly can be. And you all have taken a giant step forward in making that a reality. And congratulations to you in doing that. And I'll be happy to help wherever I can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from council? Again, thank you, Dr. Akbar, for coming. Representative Sims, all of our guests, we appreciate you being here today.
Thank you very much, and also thank you to my county council person, John Smith.
Brandon, Public Works. Oh, no, Jeff. You're right. Sorry.
Apologize for that. Okay, we're going to open up the Public Works Committee at 4:41. First item is item 2026-202. It is a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a construction contract with Carvo Companies, Inc. for the Springside Drive Sidewalk Project located in Bath Township in Council District 5 in an amount not to exceed $615,525.25 for the engineer and declaring an emergency. Ms. Swindell.
Thank you. Heidi Swindell, Summit County Engineer's Office. Council may remember a couple cycles ago we asked for authorization to advertise on this project. This is a sidewalk that's going to complete a triangle of walkways on State Route 18, Cleveland, Maslin, and now Springside Drive in the Montrose area, giving more pedestrian access to that area. It is completely funded through AMATS and Bath Township. We are just administering the project for them. We got 2 bids on this one, and Carvo Companies out of Akron was the lowest bidder, and it did come in under the engineer's estimate. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from members of the committee? Members of council? Hearing none, may I have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion from Ms. Hyam on 2026-022. All in favor? Opposed? The ayes
Thank you.
have it. Thank you. Okay, next up, we have 2026-203, a resolution ratifying Project Q194 Chittenden Road in Boston Commons Sanitary Sewer Extension, Project Q194, and the character and terminal thereof, the boundaries of the assessment district and tentative assessments as approved in resolution number 2026-031, declaring the determination of this council to proceed with construction of project Q194 provided for in resolution number 2026-031, and authorizing the executive to advertise for bids for the construction of project Q194 for a estimated total cost not to exceed $610,684.50, and approving for and execute a loan agreement with the Ohio Water Development Authority for a loan in an amount not to exceed $650,000 to fund the project located in the Village of Boston Heights in Council District 3 for the Executive's Department of Sanitary Sewer Services and declaring an emergency. Mr. Vinay.
Thank you, Chair. That was a lot of words. I apologize.
But it is Q194. That's established.
Yeah, that's the start. Michael Vinay, Director of Sanitary Sewer Services for Executive Shapiro. If council remembers, we previously brought legislation to start the assessment process for this project. This is now authorizing the project, which is a sanitary sewer extension on Chittenden Road, to authorize to advertise for bids. Once those bids come in and council agrees with that bid to approve it, we will then bring another assessment piece. The final assessment piece will be after construction is done. That assessment will be placed on the tax duplicate, and that annual assessment will pay back the loan that we're applying for this project through the Ohio Water Development Authority. So, and one more thing, Chair, and then also this project is supporting commercial development within that area for an existing business, and then some further commercial development once this sewer system is finally installed and operating.
Right. Quick question for you, Mike. With the cost of fuel and how that applies to surfacing material and what have you, do we have anything in any of the documents that we can hold folks to a number for any length of time, or is it all still speculative?
So the bids we receive are line item bids for the most part. So if they put a line item number on the bid, they have to hold that number. Sometimes they request a change order and a negotiation begins. A lot of times we reject the change order. So, it comes down to how long the project takes and where prices go, but for the most part, they have to hold that price.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from members of the committee? Members of council? May I have a motion? Mr. LeCompte moves on 2026-203. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Michael. And I will close Public Works at 4:46.
Okay, we will open Planning and Economic Development at 4:47. First item on our agenda is 2026-204, a resolution, actually, I just jumped ahead.
Yep.
We have guests here to present to us. Brian, if you'd like to introduce our guests, and we'll start there.
Yeah, so tonight, obviously, we have the Akron Rites of Passage folks here talking about their project. We have the University of Akron folks here to talk about a project, and we've invited a number of guests. So tonight is really an economic development discussion. This morning, I had the pleasure of sitting at a presentation that was put together by 3 of our summer interns who worked in the Department of Economic Development this summer. And the fact that they're here to make this presentation to you, which was completely unplanned at that point, but we were so impressed with this presentation they put together. And this was not a homework assignment. This is just something they decided to do, put together a presentation, gave it to us, and we said, oh, wow. So I asked Holly, how much longer are they with us? Well, Wednesday's their last day. So I knew if we were going to have them come present, it had to be tonight. So I talked to Committee Chairman Walters and Vice Chair Hyam and asked if we could squeeze them in to give a presentation. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to our interns. They're going to introduce themselves, tell us where they're going to school, what they're doing, and then we'll jump into their economic development presentation.
Okay, well, good evening. Thank you Council for having us here today. Here alongside me, I have 2 other interns from the Summit County Executive's Office, and today we'll be talking to you all about our Economic Development Department. Really quickly, before we kick things off, I want to introduce ourselves. So, hi everyone, my name is Anya Van Kirk. I'm the Economic Development intern this summer, and I just recently graduated from the University of Akron. I'll be returning in January for law school.
Hi, I'm Natalie Putz. I'm the GIS intern, and I'm studying at American University, and my major is International Relations.
Hi, I'm Lola Hall. I'm the Community Development intern. I attend John Carroll University. I'm a rising sophomore, and my major is Sociology and Criminology.
Sorry, I'm going to squeeze by you. Okay, wonderful. So now that we've introduced you all of us, we're going to quickly introduce to you our team that we're going to be talking about. It'll move.
This is what you call lowest and best bid.
Sorry, guys. Okay. Technical difficulties aside. So introducing the team, as you guys can see from the left-hand side to the right, we have our director, Diane Miller-Dawson, our assistant director, Holly Miller. Looking specifically at our Economic Development Department, we have David Messner, our Deputy Director, John Robinson, our Grant Program Analyst, Brandy Brady, our Economic Development Coordinator, and Tazina Long, our Executive Assistant. And so today, to kick things off, I'm first going to talk to you all about Business Retention Expansion Attraction, so otherwise known as BREA. And so in order to talk about BREA, we're going to split it down to BREs, and then we'll talk about that A in a moment. Talking about BREs, what are they? How does Summit County conduct them? First, we need to take a step back and talk about the broader organization of which we're a part of that conducts these meetings. This organization would be Elevate Greater Akron. So Elevate Greater Akron is the first ever collaboration of its kind. It's comprised of County of Summit, City of Akron, Greater Akron Chamber, and the GAR Foundation. And altogether, our main goal is to drive collaboration and regional success and strengthen Greater Akron's future. So how do we do this? We do this through our BREs. And what is a BRE? Well, in layman terms, a BRE is when members of the EGA, or Elevate Greater Akron Group, go into the Greater Akron area, meet with business owners, and try to connect them to local resources. And so for a typical BRE meeting, as you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, we have some of the generic questions that could be asked to companies in order to help connect them to said resources. And in the center of the screen here, you can see how we separate these businesses into portfolios. We have the 6 major employers, so for example, a company like Goodyear, our MBEs, WBEs, minority and women-owned businesses, downtown businesses, or mid-markets, polymers, Natalie, she'll talk more about those in a moment, and our scale-ups. And really quickly, before we move forward, I want to shout out 2 of our goals. So for the Greater Elevate Akron Group, we have a goal of completing 290 of these visits every year, so nearly 300. And for Summit County ourselves, we have a goal to meet with a business in each of our 31 communities every year, which last year we did achieve this goal. And so moving on, as I'd mentioned, we do connect them with local resources. On the left-hand side of the screen here, you can see what some of those resources are. So everything from site selection services, which will be talked about more in a moment, all the way down to introduction to service providers. And on the right-hand side of the screen, I just have a picture showcasing what our dashboard looks like. We use the software Salesforce to stay collaborated among all members of this team. And so moving forward, now that we've talked about VRE meetings, let's talk about the impact that they've had. So in 2023 to 2025, as you can see here, we have listed some of our grant activity. So we were able to help local communities receive this money in these ways. So Sustainable Polymers Tech Hub, we were able to help them be awarded $51 million. For our Greater Akron Polymer Innovation Hub, we were able to help them be awarded over $31 million. And for our Good Jobs Challenge grant, we were able to help the community be awarded $3 million. So very impressive numbers there. And as we're moving on to that A piece, here we have our certificate presentation. So this is separate of EGA or Elevate Greater Akron. This is something that the county themselves do. And starting in 2026, the executive began issuing certificates to businesses, either new ones, welcoming them to the area, or just celebrating anniversaries.
Okay, to come off of Anya's point here, I actually created a map with the GIS department showing all the certificate presentations that we've done in Summit County. The green ones are the ones that have been completed, and the blue are upcoming. This picture here is actually me and Anya going to present a certificate for Stan's Bakery. And in total, we have 51 total completed certificate presentations and 8 coming up soon. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about site selection. We work with Jobs Ohio, and it was created because government doesn't always run at the same speed as businesses. It's privatized, and it's a nonprofit organization, which means that projects are kept private and competitors do not know about expansions or relocations. It is funded through the revenue of Spiritus Beverages, and it's based in Columbus with 10 regional partners across Ohio. The Northeast Ohio partner is Team NEO, and it covers 14 counties. And we work with international companies, which is FDI, as well as existing companies that are expanding or creating new operations. Support includes finding land and buildings, connecting businesses with incentives, and working with consultants to attract companies, with the ultimate goal of bringing companies that create more good-paying jobs. In 2025, we actually saw 69 total searches and 120 total submissions during the year. Now I'll talk a little bit about Northeast Ohio's polymer industry cluster. Like Anya had already mentioned a little bit before, it is a major strength in Northeast Ohio, and the goal is to make the region a global center for polymers and the industry change. Strong industry clusters help attract new companies by providing suppliers, workforce, and existing business networks, so that's why it's really important for site selection. To do our work, we use Zoom Prospector, which is a tool used to market available buildings and sites, and it helps us respond to local, statewide, and international requests. It provides data on available properties, workforce, and community statistics. For the site selection process itself, you submit a RFI, a request for information, and then we collect property details and community information. Then we'll contact utility companies, local communities, and zoning departments to help get the project started. We'll enter all this information into CRM or Salesforce, and there's a 90-day deadline to keep the property for a business. Now, we also do a lot of work with brownfields. Brownfields are previously developed land with possible contamination. Our brownfields program focuses on pre-development work so that a site could be redeveloped. It includes phase 1 and phase 2 environmental assessments, redevelopment planning, and community engagement. Grants help us evaluate and clean up sites. In 2024, we received a $1.2 million EPA grant to create a Summit County brownfield inventory. So our goal here is to ultimately turn unused land into development opportunities. Companies need development-ready sites when they're ready to invest. To do this, we use the Industrial Site Pilot Program, which is a lot more hands-on for the county. We evaluate 30 industrial sites across Northeast Ohio, and they're divided into 6 teams, with each team responsible for 5 different sites. Each team includes engineers, architects, brokers, construction professionals, all of whom are working together to evaluate site feasibility, layouts, and development costs. Outside funding helps cover the work instead of local organizations paying for it as well. So the overall takeaways here is to make Northeast Ohio a more competitive and development-ready place. It's supposed to help make it easier for businesses to come into the county and ultimately intended to grow more jobs in the region.
Next, talking about transportation improvement districts. So these are the board members. We have County Executive Eileen Shapiro, Chairperson, Alan Brubaker, County Engineer, Curtis Baker, Executive Director of AMATS, Diane Miller-Dawson, Summit County Director of Community and Economic Development, Russell Sharnsky, Mayor of Fairlawn, and Debbie Walsh. So what is a transportation improvement district? It is a program that provides funding for various projects such as roads, highways, etc., and those help promote economic development in terms of job creation, job retention, and private sector capital investment. And there are 57 TID districts across Ohio, and Summit County has been awarded $4.6 million since 2016. There have been 3 applications this year and 1 awarded. These are some of the other resources and partners we use. So we have Ohio Meets Jobs, Development Finance Authority, Development Fund of the Western Reserve, Elevate Greater Akron, Small Business Development Centers, SCORE, and WRCF. Thank you. Any questions?
So, Council, I would just say, too, normally at the end of an internship program, we ask interns, well, what'd you learn? How'd you like your experience? This floored me. I mean, talk about setting a bar for future interns to have to compete with. And again, this was not an assignment that was given them to put together. They decided to do this, and very, very impressed.
Christine.
Thank you very much, Councilman Wilhite.
I just have one question. Can you, the 3 of you, promise us right here now in front of all of these witnesses that you will have your career here in Summit County? That would be awesome. Good job.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from council? All right. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you did enjoy your intern experience. Great job, Chip and your team, on bringing these wonderful interns to represent what we're doing here in Summit County and developing young talent. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, we will go back into committee with the first item is 2026-204, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute a grant agreement with the Downtown Akron Development Corporation in an amount not to exceed $700,000 to provide funding to support downtown economic development services and the Night Creative Project over a 3-year term for the Executive's Department of Community and Economic Development emergency.
So I'm going to ask, the executive to
Shapiro.
kick this off with a few brief comments. As you know, we've invited a number of guests, so we'll just kind of run through that cycle in a few minutes here.
Hello, everybody. So this is really an exciting project. If you don't know, the collective groups have brought in $260 million for polymers. We want this to be an international destination for polymers. You also know that we're redoing our building. We have great interest in downtown by developers who have the resources to deliver. And we, as a county, need to be looking forward to what that means and what we need to do in order to make this that destination, not only for international, but for our folks here. How do we grow our community? How do we make it wholesome and productive for our community and for the young folks that you just asked if they'd have a future in Summit County? We're working on it. So we have brought together, as we normally do, a collaboration to be able to take a look at what downtown might look like. It is a seat of government, okay? We sit in the middle of it. We are major landholders downtown, not only the building downtown, some of the adjacent buildings, and the two buildings down on the other side of East Market Street. So what are we going to do with those buildings? Well, we are working with the CDC, the Knight Foundation, and a bunch of others on what the Ohio building would look like. Some of you toured it not too long ago, right? Yes? We got a head shaking, yes. It's getting closer, folks, and we can't wait, let me tell you, to get back in there. So we're taking a look at that main floor that comes in from Main Street, about what we could really do that would be an added value to downtown. But we're also looking to our partners to see what else could be done. And so we're going to talk to you tonight about bringing the partners together to really change the face of downtown by working together, and what that's going to mean and what it's going to look like. So we have, and Brian will correct me if I'm wrong, we have the university here tonight. We have RJ, the president of the university, Emer, the president of the university. We have Kyle Kuda-Chief. I don't know if you can all hear me. From the Knight Foundation, and who else do we have? There you are. The CDC. I don't know if, come on, introduce yourself, because I don't know if anybody knows who you are.
Well, now we're off.
So this is about creating a different destiny, different destination, and creating something for the future. So I'm not going to take that information away from the folks that are working on this, but think forward. Think if we're going to build a place, a seat where people can come and enjoy, how the county can be a partner of that, not just for today, but for the future as well. And I'm going to bounce it back to Brian.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Executive. So this project is one piece of what I think will ultimately be, over the next few years, several pieces that we will probably be coming back to council to address. Listen, I think we all realize, we look around downtown Akron, Main Street looks great. If you're down here on a Friday night when they have concerts at Lock 3, baseball games, it's packed downtown. But the rest of the time, it's just not really what it should be for a town of this size. And so when, as the executive mentioned, and our interns mentioned, we have roughly $260 million of investment in these grants for polymers to make Akron what I'd almost liken to Silicon Valley within the polymer sector. But as we've seen from previous things that have been launched over the decades, that one-time money, if we don't parlay it into something more and have a vision for what it could be, the one-time money goes, and then we're left with potentially nothing at the end of it, at least certainly not what we could have gotten. So the folks we've invited here tonight to talk about this, I'm going to walk very quickly through the grant agreement itself, and then we're going to turn it over to President Emer and his team to talk about this project, and then we're going to have a little discussion about some of the other things going on downtown. The genesis of this grant started, Kyle, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago now at this point, these discussions? 22? Okay, so a good 4 years ago. This is a renovation of the Polsky building that the university owns. The idea, as you're going to hear, is to open it up to Main Street, to bring more full-time jobs down to it. The Knight Foundation is a big supporter of this. The $600,000 that's included in this grant is a match to as part of a community-wide match to the $15.5 million that the Knight Foundation is putting into this. The grant's structured so that the grant is going to flow through the Downtown Community Development Corp. The Community Development Corp, as you're going to hear from Chris and Mr. Pato from Huntington Bank, who is their chair in a few minutes, was created 2 years ago now, I think, by the city of Akron. We and I'm on the board, and we meet regularly to discuss all of these downtown projects and initiatives you're going to hear about. One of the things of standing up this CDC is it basically started with nothing. I mean, no money in the bank, no real revenue sources. The idea of sending this money through the CDC and then on to the university to help fund this project I would tell you, it's as much of an optics thing as anything, to give the downtown CDC, to help it with getting the legs under it, to become a player in this market. And there are some other things we're working on to further that as well. The grant is essentially structured $200,000 a year for 3 years, with the first $200,000 due this year upon completion and signing of the grant agreements. That $200,000, we've also created a grant agreement between the CDC and the university to then send that money on to the university. Additionally, it includes $50,000 for 2027 and 2028, which is the county's annual operating contribution to the CDC. There has also been a sizable investment from Knight Foundation 2 years ago, or a year ago now, to the CDC and its core mission, which you'll hear a little bit about that here in a minute. So I will take questions. I can take questions now about the grant structure. I'm also happy to take questions after we walk through the project and some of the rest of the presentation, if that suits council. It probably makes more sense for you to hear about the project first. So with that, I'm going to ask President Niemer and his team from the University of Akron to come on up to the podium, and let's walk through what this project entails, and the president can introduce the additional folks from his staff that are here.
Thanks, Brian.
Yep.
Good afternoon. I'm RJ Niemer, president of the University of Akron, and on behalf of the entire UA community, I'm honored to be speaking with you today about the much anticipated Polsky Building project. Before I begin talking about the project itself, I would like to share some very good news with you about the enrollment and the fantastic momentum we currently have at the University of Akron. Our numbers continue to grow. Last fall, we were ecstatic that we led the way in freshman growth across all state universities, with first-time first-year students increasing by nearly 10%. I am pleased to share with you that we are again growing among that population for the upcoming fall semester. Actually, I'll go off script a little bit here and share with you, of all of the state universities in Ohio currently, Ohio State, University of Akron, and the University of Cincinnati are the only universities showing growth. The others are either flat or showing decline. Thank you, Eileen. Additionally, our transfer student numbers continue to be outstanding, including more than 40 transfer students into our nurse anesthesia doctoral program alone. Overall, we are excited to both retain more of our local people and bring new students to Summit County, whether they choose to study in person or online. As I turn to the Polsky Building project, I'd like to start with first with a few words of gratitude. First, I would like to thank the members of Summit County Council for inviting me today and for considering this investment in the Polsky Building. This project will create a more robust Main Street, similar to the improvements brought about by the renovations of your own building just down the street from Polsky. Second, I'd like to thank Summit County Executive Eileen Shapiro and her team for their ongoing support of the University of Akron and specifically the Polsky Building. Third, donors are key to bringing the project to fruition, including the Knight Foundation, the project's primary benefactor, represented this afternoon by Kyle Kudachief. Finally, our gratitude goes out to the City of Akron and the State of Ohio, as both entities have invested in the Polsky Building project. I'm encouraged that so many leaders want to see the University of Akron and downtown Akron continue to thrive in new ways. As you consider this request for support, I'd like to highlight several takeaways that will demonstrate how the Polsky Building project will benefit the University of Akron, downtown Akron, and Summit County. First, renovations to Polsky will greatly increase Main Street foot traffic. The university will move approximately 100 full-time employees into the Polsky Building, which will help support and revitalize restaurants and businesses. Additionally, we are moving our esports program to the Polsky complex. This program hosts approximately 6 to 8 large events per year, which typically bring in around 1,500 to 2,000 spectators and friends and family members for each event, providing an immediate and increased focus on downtown Akron. Second, the overhaul of the Polsky Building will complement other renovations occurring on Main Street, including the previously mentioned Ohio Building, as well as recently amped up spaces like Lock 3 Park. We believe the Polsky Building renovation is a critical part of the ongoing efforts to improve the Main Street experience. Finally, the Polsky Building will house community serving programs. Among these, the School of Counseling will continue to bring mental and behavioral health support to its new home. Additionally, the UA Sally Benson Commons will provide a venue where attorneys can meet with citizens and provide consultative services. Our Audiology and Speech Center, already located on the first floor of Polsky's, provides a full range of clinical speech, language, and hearing services for children and adults. Combined, these programs offer vital support and health-related services to thousands of community members each year. Although work has already begun, the timeline for the Polsky Building project is built out in multiple phases over the next 2 years, with an anticipated completion date of April 2029. Thank you for considering the University of Akron's request. We believe the Polsky Building project is of good use, is a good course for UA. Beyond that, however, it is essential for a revitalized downtown Akron experience and is beneficial for Summit County. Thank you very much. Those with me today are Dr. Akers with Government Relations, Misty Villers, our Chief Financial Officer, and Willie Coleman, my Chief of Staff. And, I'm sorry, one and Stephanie Brothers. Armin from the fiscal. She handles the money for it. She will answer the hard questions. Throw me the softballs. Thank you very much. Can we or any of us take any questions?
Yeah, Council, and I sent out Friday some artist renderings the university provided us for what's contained in the project. Now would be a good time if you have questions about the project itself, along with the money. Obviously, always the money is important. Please feel free to ask the president and his team.
Sir, I would like to say thank you for being here. I have a question. When they talk about host 6 to 8 large-scale events, could you kind of give us an example of what that would look like?
For the esports?
Yeah, the esports.
So I date myself by saying I didn't quite get what esports was, but students actually compete and play video games against each other, which was new to me when I became president. And it's actually a spectator sport that people come and watch people play video games against other people. We are a nationally ranked esports team. We actually have people from all over the country that come to the University of Akron to compete on our esports team. Currently, it's housed in the lobby of InfoCision. And one of the times I was coming through, they had chairs set up similar to how they're set up here for spectators to watch. And I started talking to the program and I said, who comes? Well, we get students from other schools, we get high school students that come to watch, and the more we started thinking about it, it made sense to move that program to Main Street, both in terms of because I think it'll be a little bit of a splashier space for the team because they're nationally ranked, but also again for spectators to come and hopefully stay for pizza, buy coffee, and all of those things that drive sort of ancillary commerce around those types of things. So those are when I say the large scale events, those are the esports events. Okay. We're actually short on reception space at the University of Akron as well. We're looking to use some areas in the Polsky Building to host community receptions, donor receptions with sort of an art gallery type of feel. So those activities would also be moving down to that Main Street side.
Councilman Wilhite.
Mr. President, thank you for the time tonight, the presentation. This is an exciting project.
Thank you.
As an alumni and based on the color of my hair, longtime supporter of University of Akron.
Good. Glad to hear that. Thank you.
That's important. And I wanted to ask, following up Rita's question, you mentioned here that 1,500 to 2,000 family, friends, and spectators come per each of the events. Is there anything wrapped around each of those visits that could help the existing businesses that are downtown to promote their restaurant, their shop, their whatever it is they're doing to expose those folks to a complete exposure of downtown? Because to have a group that big 6-8 times a year, that's impactful.
No, absolutely. And we currently have a relationship with the Rubber Ducks that, what I would say, to use your term, wrap around, both in terms of internship programs and then hosting some student-based events there. Earlier this year, we brought in 15 high school counselors, college guidance counselors, all from out of state, and brought them all to downtown Akron, hosted dinners, took them to a Rubber Ducks game as well. So I guess the long answer to your question is yes, we can wrap around what I would call activation events with those types of things. I would love to do things that coincide with concerts at Lock 3 or shows at the Civic Theater to kind of give them an immersive experience to Akron. The nice thing is, and I think the county executive would echo this, we have the university, the county, and the city have, I think, a very collaborative relationship and partnership where if we see a win occurring in one column, we understand that it's not mutually exclusive, and we'd like to share that sort of spotlight on Akron. And I could see real potential, not only for this, but other events that we'll be doing at the Polsky Building.
And I will just add, as Jeff was talking about, will there be opportunity to promote local businesses while people are in that space as well? So letting people know where the restaurants are, where the places are to shop, so it promotes them to go down into those spaces and lift up the businesses that are sitting there.
I think absolutely. I would love to see some sort of community directory or some shared, I guess maps are outdated, so we'll call it an app, some sort of shared app that showcases the area, although I still like maps. But I think there's real potential for those types of things.
I think we're talking about engaging the Night Center to be able to broadcast some of those where we all have niches. They have a larger voice in that space. So whatever they put together would be promoted along with, we would hope, the Night Center and their big reach for the university.
Great, thank you very much, Councilman Ford.
So it's $200,000 over 3 years?
It's $200,000 per year for 3 years.
For 3 years. And when is the first distribution?
It'll be this, assuming this passes council and we get the grant agreement signed, it'll be this year.
Okay. And what's the total cost of the project?
35?
32. So 15 is coming from the Knight Foundation, 600 is coming from us, and then the remainder?
Some is state dollars, and some was raised by other private donations.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions from council? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you all very much.
So next I'd like to ask Chris Hardesty from our Downtown Community Development Corp to address council to talk about some of the other projects going on and some of the discussions we've had surrounding our county properties, the Ohio Building, Building 1 and 2 downtown. I'd also like to recognize Ron Pato, who is the, make sure I get this right, he's the market president for the Akron-Canton area for Huntington Bank, and he is the chairman of the Downtown Community Development Corp.
Thank you, Brian. Good afternoon, council members. My name is Christopher Hardesty. I'm the executive director for the Downtown Akron Development Corporation. I first want to thank you for having me here today, and thank you for your consideration of investment in the University of Akron, the Downtown Development Corporation, as well as Downtown Akron. Some of you might know the Downtown Akron Development Corporation was first stood up in the last 2 years. I started my work last July, so I just had my 1 year anniversary just about a month ago. And some of you might not know that the Downtown Akron Development Corporation was created to fill a role in downtown Akron to support and facilitate real estate development and small business development in downtown. And what that might look like is, and what you might see actually in downtown, is investment in small businesses with projects, Crafty Steer, the Mercantile that's going up, assistance with large-scale developments such as Quaker Square, First National Tower, the Polsky renovation, and many others, as well as working with the county on the Ohio Building and County Buildings 2 and 3 on the north side. And the general goals of the Downtown Akron Development Corporation are to assist with the growth of residential population, expand small business opportunity, and help reposition office and other commercial spaces for different uses. And we work very closely with the city, the county, and my colleague Kimberly with Downtown Akron Partnership to help facilitate all of those goals and all pitch in to make sure that downtown, when we're talking about development, is a cohesive approach and that we have a united front when we're approaching development. Some of the work that the Downtown Akron Development Corporation has engaged in the last 12 months has been some creation of grant programs for downtown. We have 2 existing grant programs for downtown Akron. The Business Development Grant Program, which focuses on real property and capital improvements of small businesses. It's a reimbursement grant offering up to $50,000 for investment to real property within a business that's associated with job creation or general enhancements to a facility that help increase the efficiency or overall business operations. And also, we have a Main Street Facade Program, which just launched in May, that focuses on another reimbursement grant of up to $10,000 for general enhancements and improvements to the facade, with general focus on signage, awnings, lighting, things that really make the facade of a business pop along South Main Street. With that, we've had several downtown wins over the last 12 months since I got here. I'm not contributing that to myself, but I'll contribute to the community at large. We've retained GPD. We've also attracted Buckingham, and we've also helped to retain and expand Millennium Capital Improvement and Recovery Corp. All of those collectively result in around 300 new jobs as well as 400 retained jobs in downtown Akron. And just in the last month, I think the end of June, the state announced 2 historic tax credit announcements for downtown Akron, including First National Tower, which is the Huntington Tower, as you might see if you're along South Main Street, and Quaker Square, which generates around $10 million of state investment into the downtown conversions. Those 2 projects alone are going to help create a hotel adjacent, a convention center, a hotel adjacent to the convention center, around 275 units of residential and then additional commercial office and retail space. When you're looking at downtown from our pipeline and a project standpoint, we have several projects which are all here, including the Quaker Square, First National Tower, City Center, Philadelphia Rubber Works, Goodrich Phase 2, Akron Beacon Journal, Polsky renovation, and the ongoing work at the Ohio Building and County Buildings 2 and 3. Collectively, that's approximately $350 million of private investment that will be coming into downtown Akron. And that directly results in additional 700 plus units of residential, thousands of square feet in retail, commercial, and other office space. And as I mentioned before, that will help create around 1,000 additional residents in downtown Akron, which directly supports the Downtown Akron Vision and Redevelopment Plan that was recently updated, which calls for the goal of raising our downtown population to approximately 5,000 by 2030. And I'll wrap this up because I know your time's valuable. The county support is critical to maintaining and growing the momentum for downtown Akron and Summit County. So if anyone has any specific questions about the projects in downtown or what DADC does, I'd happily open up the microphone for questions.
Great, thank you very much. Any questions from council? Thank you.
I neglected to introduce
Stop
Stan
it.
before. We go back many, many years, back to First Merit, and he has been a good partner all of those years. Must be 30, 40 years by now. I know I'm dating myself. He is now the, tell me your title.
President
President of,
Huntington.
I'll tell Steve you said that.
Please do.
at any rate, he's taking that partnership to a bigger level with the CDC and all of the other investments that Huntington makes in our community.
Thanks, Eileen.
They're very
You're done.
I'm going.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for having us here today. I got to tell you, what a great time it is to be in Akron, Summit County, and downtown Akron. If you can't feel the momentum and the energy that is building and the focus, I don't know what to tell you. RJ, congratulations on the enrollment. Just fantastic. I'm on the verge of buying season tickets so that we can call the first 3 plays of the game. So looking forward to that as well. Couple things. Thank you in advance for your consideration. I think it's important for you to know, though, that when you look at the Downtown Akron Development Corporation Board of Directors, these are organizations and businesses that are vested in downtown Akron, not just by their membership, but by their investment. And I would be remiss if I didn't highlight those organizations that, like you, are investing money in downtown Akron. It is you, it is the city, it is the university, it's Voorhees Law Firm, it's the Akron Community Foundation, it's the Knight Foundation, it's PNC Bank, it's Huntington Bank, it's State and Federal Communications, it's the Greater Akron Chamber, it's the GAR Foundation, it's Akron Children's, it's Oswalt, it's Retzel, it's Downtown Akron Partnership, and it's the Development Finance Authority. Those are really, 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 really good companies and really, really strong organizations that are bullish on the future of downtown Akron, not just by their membership on the board, but by the fact that they are writing a check each year to support the organization. As you heard, we're now in year 2. And when we turn the page from year 1 to year 2, one of the things that needed to happen is, A, the board members had to agree to serve an additional year, and then, just as important, write another check. 100% of our board members came back for a second year and a second term and wrote a check, and we're actively talking to 3 other organizations right now that are interested in serving on the board and supporting the work that we're doing downtown. So thank you again for your time and your consideration, and happy to answer any questions at the end.
And lastly, I'd like to ask Kyle Kudachief from the Knight Foundation. I'd like to ask Steve Millard from the Greater Akron Chamber to come up as well. Obviously, Knight has made a big commitment here. They made a number of other big commitments to downtown Akron, and we've also had some discussions about maybe some potential future commitments surrounding some of our properties as well. So, Kyle.
To be continued. Hey, good afternoon. I'm Kyle Kudachief. I'm fortunate to be director for Knight Foundation here in Akron. And think about what the Polsky building is today. It is locked doors, mirrored glass. You can't get in, and students don't get out because they have to walk up the hill to get back in the building. It's a block that most of Summit County doesn't really know exists. And the plan the President Niemer has put together is going to open that building like a tin can, and it's going to spill students out onto Main Street. Students are a critical ingredient for successful downtowns, and it's not just University of Akron, it's also Akron Early College, one of our county's finest high schools in the building. But getting those students to come out, we will see backpacks on Main Street someday. I jokingly say that and hope it happens. But 2, the building will invite the community into campus. So many people come to our city and say, are you guys a college town? I know you have a university. Or they go to the university, and students who've been there 2 and 3 years, where is downtown anyway? I hear there's a Luigi's Pizza. And I never fault the students. It's not their fault. It's our fault for not making the downtown experience a critical ingredient of the university. And so if we want to continue to grow and thrive, that blurring that connection and getting the two to interact, and we're confident the Polsky building is going to do that. The last thing I'd say to the momentum conversations, the Akron Civic Theater completed a $9 million capital campaign. Lock 3 Park was a $17 million investment. The Akron Rubber Ducks continue to do an amazing job. When those students step out onto Main Street, there's a lot of great things for them to do, and we're excited for this project to come to fruition in the next 2 years, and really appreciate you considering joining the team of support. With that, I'll throw it to my friend Steve Millard.
Thanks, Kyle. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us here tonight. I'm Steve Millard with the Great Akron Chamber. Everything has been said almost by everybody, so I will just wrap it up by saying what you're seeing right now, in addition to the momentum, all the projects I listed on my list of things to mention have been covered in some way or another by the other partners here, but the partnerships are unbelievable. The collaboration is really important, and the county has been at the very head of both driving our Elevate Greater Akron initiative, supporting and funding it, everything from our Polymer Innovation Hub to the work we're doing with the facility on the University of Akron campus, to the work that they're conceiving on Main Street in terms of how do we create the vibrancy. As was said earlier, we have great weekends and great evenings. We're starting to see residents. We're also starting to see employment activity. Many employers either expanding their presence or making sure they're bringing folks back through the day. So we appreciate your support. We appreciate your leadership. And I think the large combination of partners that we have working on this are going to deliver for you something that can not only benefit downtown, but benefit the entire county. This work spills over into other areas of the county, from Barberton to Stowe to Macedonia to other places in our community down the green, where we're seeing development that's anchoring into the development happening downtown. So thank you for your support.
Great, thank you. Councilman Wilhite.
First of all, again, congratulations on a great concept. I'm going to make the plea, again, on this whole wraparound communications piece. When Abe Lincoln and I went to the University of Akron, we didn't have the electronics that we have now. It was hard to tell a story. We've got that now. And with the excitement that's in this room, the partnership that's come together is very, very cool. If we can just commit and make sure we don't lose sight of that wraparound piece and share the story with folks so that they participate, because it's good stuff. And I'm committed to help any way I can, but I support this 100% with that plea. Let's not lose that spark, that excitement, to keep the folks in the community aware that this is really, really a gem on Main Street. So congratulations, everybody.
Great, thank you. Any other questions or comments from council? Again, thank you to all the partners. We are very fortunate here in Summit County, the way our groups and businesses and government and not-for-profits and our charitable partners all work together. So very grateful to have such a cooperative community working on these projects. So thank you. With that, I need a motion. I have a motion from Councilman Wilhite. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is 2026-205, a resolution authorizing the executive to advertise for bids for the safety building rooftop HVAC unit replacement project located in the city of Akron and Council District 4 for an estimated total cost not to exceed $643,600 for the Executive's Department of Administrative Services physical plants, declaring an emergency. Mr. Eckenrode.
Good afternoon, Council. Joe Eckenrode, Division of Physical Plants under the County Executive Shapiro's office. We're seeking bid authorization to replace a rooftop unit on the safety building. This serves the 3rd and 4th floor. The previous unit's been in place for over 30 years, and we've been limping it along for the past few years. It's provided cooling. The new unit, it's a packaged unit, is going to provide both cooling and supplemental heat for the 3rd and 4th floor, and it's going to be much more efficient for these floors to run. The engineer's estimate came in at $643,000, and it's going to be paid for out of the general fund capital improvement budget. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from members of the committee? Members of council? May I have a motion? Councilman Wilhite moves. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
And with that, I will close Planning and Economic Development at 5:38.
We will open Public Safety at 5:38. We have 3 items this evening. We'll begin with 2026-206, a resolution authorizing the executive to advertise for bids to provide inmate food services for the jail for the period of December 1st, 2026 through November 30th, 2027, with 4 options to renew for an additional 1-year term for an estimated cost not to exceed $1 million for the first year for the sheriff, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Angela Just with the Sheriff's Office. This is a request to have authorization to go out to bid for the inmate meals at the Summit County Jail. Our current contract with Aramark expires November the 30th, and we'd like to go out to bid to get the best price and the best service. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions from committee? Questions from council? May I have a motion? Ms. Darrow is moving on 2026-206. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
2026-207, a resolution authorizing the executive to advertise for bids for a hazmat truck for the Summit County Special Operations Team, Hazardous Materials Branch, for an estimated total amount not to exceed $1,400,000 for the Executive's Department of Public Safety Emergency Management Agency, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Alex Burt, Department of Public Safety under County Executive Shapiro. It's exactly what Councilman Lacott read off. It's authorization to bid for a new hazmat truck for our special operations team. Our current hazmat truck is about 31 years old, so it's a little dated on its technology. This truck will give us the opportunity to model plumes and do testing within the truck itself. So it'll give us more opportunities and a faster response for all those kinds of things. So hazmat's also a type 1 team in Ohio, and so we could respond anywhere in Ohio should they need a type 1 team, which is the highest team in Ohio, at least. Ranking for team. Questions?
Questions? Ms. Darrow?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring this up. We just had an incident in Macedonia.
You did.
And Royal Chemical. And it was very, very important that hazmat showed up there and secured the area. And, you know, luckily everything came out, you know, the way we wanted it to come out. So I think this is a very important piece.
Yeah. Thank you.
Other questions from committee or council?
I'll move.
Mr. Schmidt is moved on 2026-207. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Alex, I'm curious, do you know what we paid 31 years ago for the truck we're using now?
You know, I could not find that piece of legislation on the website, and I did think about harassing Mark for it to see if he could find it, but I know it was like not nearly as much as this.
Okay.
But yes,
Just
I can find out.
I didn't figure you'd know the answer.
No, I wish.
All right.
I wish.
That's true.
I wasn't that old, but yes, so it's been a while. Yeah, so.
John, how many years of service did you have at the county? 31 years? Never mind.
Yeah. I do kind of want to know, though.
We will move forward with 2026-208, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service contract subject to the approval of the Information Technology Board with Mission Critical Partners for consulting services, an amount not to exceed $149,012 for the Executive's Department of Public Safety, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Alex Burt, again for the Department of Public Safety under County Executive Shapiro. This is for consulting to help write the RFP for a new case management system for the clerk and the Court of Common Pleas. I think we've all talked, I don't know if it's been talked about here, but Greta might remember that the clerk system is aging and will no longer be supported in a few years from now. So this is us being proactive and making sure we're getting it replaced with the best possible option.
It's also the same system that serves the domestic relations court, and we have already identified that there are 14 different platforms that fold into the county clerk's office, so from the jail to municipal courts, all of those things. So this is trying to take a broader look at not just purchasing that one piece of software, but creating a plan moving forward for about the next 10 years when we know things are going to have to be replaced at the prosecutor's office, at the muni courts, and trying to coordinate that in a way that makes financial sense and common sense.
Thank you, Greta.
Do you have any questions from committee? Questions from council? Mr. Ford moves on 2026-208. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The Public Safety Committee will close at 5:44.
Rules Committee will come to order. We have one resolution to consider this evening, 2026-209, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute a settlement agreement and release for an amount not to exceed $235,000 to settle any and all claims arising out of or concerning issues raised in the lawsuit Stacy Clark v. Candy Fothery et al. For the executive and the sheriff, and declaring an emergency.
Good evening, Brian Harnack, Director of the Department of Law and Risk Management for the executive. As you may recall, this case was the subject of an executive session last week, so I'll just give you a brief recap. In January 2025, Stacy Clark filed an action against the sheriff and the county, alleging a violation of her First Amendment rights, particularly the right of association under U.S. Code 42, 1983. On June 30th, 2026, a mediation was conducted in this matter at the federal court in Cleveland, and at that time a settlement of all Ms. Clark's claims raised in the lawsuit in the amount of $235,000 was reached by the parties. The prosecutor, the executive's office, law department believes the settlement to be fair and in the best interest of the county, and we're asking that it be approved by this council. Take any questions.
Questions from members of the committee, members of council, the public. Mr. Donofrio moved on 2026-209. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Any other business to come before the Rules Committee? Then we are adjourned.
And I will open up the Health and Human Services Committee at 5:42. We have two items on the agenda today. 2026-2010, a resolution declaring the month of August 2026 as National Immunization Awareness Month, recognizing the individual and community benefits of receiving immunizations for the executive and declaring an emergency. Do we have anyone speaking on behalf of this? Oh, sorry.
Good afternoon, members of council, leadership, and members of our community. I'm Dr. Erica Sobolewski, and I'm the medical director at Summit County Public Health. I thank you for the opportunity to speak today as we recognize Immunization Awareness Month. I appreciate the council's continued support of public health and your commitment to the health and well-being of everyone who calls our county home. Vaccination remains one of the most effective and cost-effective public health measures ever developed. For generations, vaccines have protected children and adults from serious diseases, reduced hospitalizations, prevented complications, and saved countless lives. Many of the diseases that were once common are now rarely seen because communities have embraced immunization as a shared responsibility. As medical director for our county public health, I see firsthand the importance of prevention. Every vaccine represents an opportunity to protect an individual from illness. It also helps safeguard our broader community. Infants who are too young to be vaccinated, older adults, and individuals with weakened immune systems all benefit from vaccine-preventable diseases and are less likely to spread. While we made tremendous progress, our work is not finished. Vaccination rates for routine immunizations have declined over the years. Recent communities are leaving communities more vulnerable to outbreaks of diseases that are largely preventable. Immunization Awareness Month serves as an important reminder for all of us to review our vaccination status, speak with our healthcare providers, and ensure that we and our families are up to date on recommended vaccines throughout every stage of life. Public health is built on partnership. I want to thank our healthcare providers, pharmacists, schools, community organizations, and the dedicated staff of the health department. Their commitment to education, outreach, and access to immunization services helps keep our residents healthy every single day. I also want to thank this council for recognizing the importance of prevention, for supporting initiatives that strengthen the health of our community. Your leadership helps ensure our residents have access to the information and services to make informed decisions about their health. As we recognize Immunization Awareness Month, I encourage everyone to use this opportunity to learn about recommended vaccines, have conversation with trusted healthcare providers, and help protect those who are most vulnerable among us. Together, through education, partnership, and prevention, we can continue building a healthier, safer, and more resilient county for generations to come. Thank you for your time, your leadership, and your commitment to public health. Take any questions anyone may have.
Thank you, Doctor. Any questions? Any questions from members of committee? Council as a whole? All right,
Thank
council
you.
as a whole. May I have a motion? A motion from Councilman Lacotte. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. 2026-211, a resolution declaring the day of August 22nd, 2026 as Summit County Pride Day, encouraging residents to celebrate and support the LGBTQ+ community and the Akron Pride Festival and Equity March for the executive and declaring an emergency.
Good evening, Council. Andrew Berry on behalf of County Executive Shapiro's Department of Law and Risk Management. So the Akron Pride Festival is celebrating its 10th year anniversary this year on August 22nd, which this resolution just happens to be declaring Summit County Pride Day. This annual event draws residents from all around Northeast Ohio to Summit County and downtown Akron, showing support for our local LGBTQ+ community with a mission to affirm the LGBTQ+ community and its allies. I want to share with Council that your public support on this resolution matters, not only as a support for the festival with a tremendous cultural and economic impact on our region, but also to our community specifically at a time when LGBTQ+ people, and especially our youth, are unnerved or worried about the rhetoric at the national or state level. Local declarations of support like this one are increasingly important, very powerful and meaningful. So thank you, and I hope to see you at the festival on August 22nd.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. Council as a whole? All right, we're on a roll. May I have a motion? A motion from Councilman Will Hite. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. If there's no further business before Health and Human Services, we will adjourn at 5:47.